Today on What Went Wrong, we talk about why you don't want to get in a relationship on your project. Hi, I'm Brett Mauser, and I've shot over 40 feature films. And admittedly, I have dated an actress or two, which is something I highly advise against. And I probably will never do again, though I say that. One of the things we were talking about, we were just starting to talk about, was that, most people at their day job, whether they're working for a bank or whatever, usually understand, dating your coworker can lead to a lot of issues.
A lot of problems.
But yet when you get on a movie set, it seems like that changes. Now, I don't know whether... I believe that a lot of actors and actresses in independent films, when with what the kind of films that we make and the casts we have to pull from, that these aren't people who are chasing an acting career. A lot of people, some of them are, but a lot of them are. I think see it more as a social opportunity, as a way to meet hot and beautiful people.
Where are those?
So they see it more as an extracurricular thing. Yeah. So they don't put the same structure, the same rules onto it. Now, I would say my excuse, which is invalid, but my excuse is that I have dated inside the films because that's all my dating pool is. I don't have a social life. I don't go out. I don't hit the bars. I don't do this. So all the people that I meet are people that I work with on sets.
Right.
Does that make it right? No. I can give so many different examples of how I will guarantee that it will blow up in your face.
Yeah. It's I'm one of the people who acting is not my craft, which I've talked about. And in my actual job, there's always been an unwritten rule: you don't date your coworkers. When I was in the military, that was easy because I was in an infantry unit and an artillery unit, and there's no women. So this is before
before they dropped the standards.
This is before the Obama military. This is you weren't allowed to be gay. But the point is, I still wouldn't date them because I'm not. Not that there's a problem with that, but it's not a good idea to do it in where you work, because if the relationship works, then that's fantastic. If it doesn't, it can be a problem, and odds are it's not going to work. You may meet your soulmate, okay? And if that happens, you take your chances, with the best of them. But chances are it's not your soulmate. Chances are it's someone you and her or you and he have in common, and y'all enjoy talking together, or maybe you work together a lot, so you see each other a lot of the times. You're very familiar with one another, and it could be kind of good. The problem is what happens when that relationship doesn't work out and you're still working with this person. Now, like I said, I was in the military, and then afterwards, working where I work, the opportunity to date your coworkers, because all you're gonna, in the world I'm in, I spend a lot of time with these people. Luckily, I say luckily or unluckily, it just happens to be where I am now. Not a lot of women that I'm dealing with, whereas before there was a lot more. But even then, there was an unwritten rule, and in some cases, this is how, I guess, how far away I was from it, because I don't even know. Because I never did. It was just kind of ingrained in me. Don't do it. So I don't actually know what the rules were for dating coworkers. I know people did. I know a lot of guys with who I flew, and they dated flight attendants or other pilots, and they got married. I never did. I never ever did. And so it just was a bad idea all the way around, because odds are it's not going to work. And then there you are stuck with that person. You can't always just transfer away. Sometimes, depending on what kind of office you work in, that's it. That's all you can go. Sometimes you can go somewhere else, but then someone's got to move, and then someone's got to, So, not saying don't do it. Just saying it's not a good idea.
Yeah, and you have to have that forethought. What so many so many people do today is they just jump in.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about not just relationships. I mean, just anything. And
Yeah.
you don't think out. Well, what could happen? What could be the results of this? What could I be looking at? And as somebody who's had relationships on set. Here's one prime example is recently I was seeing somebody and we kept it quiet. It was like, okay, we're not gonna, let's not discuss it. We just be like, friends on set. Well, other actors didn't know it, so one of the other male actors started hitting on her.
Whoops.
Well, the thing that both of them forgot, however, was that they had their microphones on. So I'm behind the camera and they're outside and they're going to come in at a certain point. When I call action, they'll come in. Well, I'm setting up and I've got my headphones on and I get to hear the conversation that's going on outside between the two of them. And now, okay, great. I learned my lesson. I learned, okay, well, she's that kind of person.
Yeah.
I learned that, but I'm on set. I'm in my professional attire. I'm in my professional setting.
Your mode, yeah.
And now that has just been thrown in. And now I have to deal with that emotionally on set.
Right.
While I'm dealing with it. I mean, I think I handled it very well, played it off, just, it completely ignored it and then I'm able to say, hey, look, what the hell? But that's not something. Now imagine that on your day job.
Yeah.
With your bosses standing around. Why would you do that?
Yeah.
In a film that you're working on?
And I think part of it you get to, you said earlier, where a lot of these people, it's not their day job. And people will act differently at their day job as opposed to extracurricular activities. Like everyone talks about what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas because it's not your day job, right? So what you get to do in your off time is not necessarily going to affect what you do in your real time. But what needs to be understood is even though this may not be your little whatever, you're still on a set. You're still working, even though you may not consider this your day job, okay? I have never considered working on your set to be my day job, ever. I never wanted it to be. But I knew well enough to know that whatever I'm doing, I'm going to do it as damn good as I can. And so if you say I need you to do this and do this and do this and do that, I'm going to do that and that as to my very best ability. The fact that this isn't my actual job is not going to affect how dedicated I am to it, how hard I work at it, and my, I guess I need to say my insatiable need to make sure it's right, because I'm weird that way. Which I guess relates to what I've always thought everyone should do, which gets into other subjects. We'll talk about actors and other things they're doing, is they don't take it as seriously as you do, which I know just drive. I mean, if let's say, for example, I was doing my day job and then someone else just kind of comes along just to do it part-time and they're not taking it as seriously as I am, the hell, how do I say, off my, this is my world. This is what I do. Don't screw with it just because you're not professional enough to handle it. Get the hell out of here. You can't always do that with independent actors, and I get that. But still, it just shows bad form on their part, bad breeding, I guess you could say. Who, like some people's kids, they don't understand, and I guess there's nothing you can do about. I say nothing you can do about that. You have to be aware, as an actor, that when you go on a set, even if you're not a professional, even if this is not your day job, this is someone's project. This is someone's idea. This is someone's, dreams of whatever to make this thing and do this thing. You need to be there and be in the present and be in the moment and be able to do this thing, and distracting yourself with a member of the opposite of the same sex, whichever one you happen to do, that's not why you're there. Cut the out. Do your job, even though it's not your job, do your job. And later on, when you're off the set, and I don't mean like when you're at dinner that night, I mean when you're done with this project.
Yeah.
Then And you can even tell, and let's say, I mean, people talk about, well, what I want. Okay, if I meet Little Miss Hotness on one of your movie sets, I'm single. If I meet one of your Little Miss Hotnesses, you know, and I'm like, oh, ha, you know, I can talk to her. I can be friendly. But one thing I need to understand, and if I want to date her, I can tell her, hey, can I take you to dinner sometime? I said, we can't really do it right now because we're coworkers. But after we're done, you want to go out with me sometime? Now, she may or may not like that. She might, well, why can't we now? And I'm just like, look, I'm not an actor, but I'm a professional, and I'm trying to be a professional, and this is what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to do the best I can for Brett, and I'm afraid I can't do that if blah, blah, blah. And if she understands that, great. If she doesn't understand that, doesn't want to do, well, then she's not right for me, because I need someone who understands the realities and the need to be present in the present and not be worrying about what she's doing or what she's with or whatever. I need to be here right now doing this to the best of my ability. And unfortunately, being humans, like you said, the emotion comes in, or if something happens or we break up or she starts doing something else, I can't have that.
Yeah. Well, now, and let's also put into the step over the line a little bit here, and probably this is going to be definitely directed more towards filmmakers who will see this. I can't address the actor versus actor thing because I've never worked on another person's set.
Right.
But from my experience as a filmmaker, you're putting yourself in jeopardy. You're putting your emotions in jeopardy. You're putting your film in jeopardy.
Yeah.
I have had to make decisions. Do I swallow my pride and finish this film and be a professional despite everything is going on behind the scenes with myself and somebody else, or do I just give in and just call the movie's done, we're done, you know?
Right.
And I've had to make that call before, and I've always gone on the professional side and
Yeah.
said just finish the project
Because that's who you are.
because I think about the people that have put their time into it,
Right.
and I'm the one that made the mistake of getting involved in that
Right.
in the first place, so that all falls on me.
Right.
So I can speak from experience. You know, will I do it again? No, I won't, because I have, you know, too many people like you that are going to, Brett, nice.
Well, because it's for us. I mean, like I said, I'm trying to be here, and my director is off and doing something he shouldn't be doing. It's like, what the? Hey, I'm here. What are you doing?
Yeah.
You know. And for me personally, it's just not what I want to do. And some people do, some people don't. Different strokes, different folks. Blah blah blah. But it is something to think about if you're going to get into this little kind of world. That is a problem you're going to face. Take it for what you want it. You know, take it for what you will. But from the voice of experience, we've been at this for a while. I've seen it. I've seen it more times than I haven't seen it.
Yeah. Well, that should give you the motivation or reasoning why you don't want to get into a relationship with an actor or actress, or definitely not on set. Treat it like your day job.
It's your day job. Be a job.